Peace, peace. This is your host, Selah, Shalom. And this is the Cosmon Teachings in the words of Jehovah and His Angel Ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible, OAHSPE. And today I was searching the internet, the YouTube, and I came across some information that was interesting. I came across two accounts of two different sources where they described extraterrestrials as being black. We always hear about the white extraterrestrials, such as the Palladians, the Nordics, and even some of the Andromedans. But now we have an account of black extraterrestrials on crafts.
But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, we got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
well, what?
To say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClelland's statement about that?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
Now, there was another account where a Puerto Rican man said he was abducted, and he describes being on a craft, and the person he comes in contact with is a black being, as he describes.
1988, Amaury Rivera, a young man from Puerto Rico, photographed a giant disk, followed and circled by 2 jet interceptors. What makes the sensational pictures even more interesting is Rivera's claim that he had contact with the occupants of this UFO.
Hello, my name is Amaury Rivera. I live in Puerto Rico, and back in 1988, I was working in a nightclub, and there was a musical group there. One of my cousins wanted me to photograph the musical group, and she loaned me a camera with some film. On my way back home, I encountered 2 small beings, 2 small strange men, which I didn't think were men from outer space. And they took me somewhere where there were other people besides myself, other human people, like from Puerto Rico, I guess. From here, another human being showed up. He claimed to be from a distant planet. He was dressed in black. He had dark skin. He was dressed in black. He had dark skin, but he was dressed in black. He had dark skin, but he was not a Negro. He had long black hair up to the shoulders, and he spoke to us with the mouth, verbally, and no telepathic speaking.
So now, here are 2 accounts of different sources describing black beings on spacecrafts. Now, when OAHSPE describes a dark-skinned female goddess, as described in the book of Apollo, chapter 11, verse 2, where it states, Semeiad was a small woman, dark and of deep love, most jovial of goddesses. So here's an account in the OAHSPE Bible showing you a dark-skinned female goddess being an extraterrestrial or Etherian angel. The Bible don't speak of black goddesses, but OAHSPE do. Now, the Puerto Rican who was abducted, when he was abducted, the black extraterrestrial or being gave him a trajectory of 3 things that was going to come to pass on the earth. And one of those things he describes was a falling meteorite.
He was dressed in black. He had a dark skin, but he was not a Negro. He had a long black hair up to the shoulders, and he spoke to us with the mouth, verbally, and no telepathic speaking. He showed us various projections, which looked very real, the projections, and he informed us about a whole bunch of things that are even still incredible to me. Then they returned me to...
What did this holographic projection show?
The holographs were mainly, the first one that I can remember was like a short trip through space. We saw where he came from, where he's said to be from. We saw his people, we saw the houses that they used. And the second one was about a meteor or a rock falling to Earth in the near future, which is going to cause a lot of havoc in the world. This would fall, it's going to fall in very near the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and those other small islands. But it's going to affect the whole world, not just Puerto Rico.
Now, in OAHSPE, it gives accounts at different times and periods throughout the arc cycle that meteorites or meteor showers is rained down on the earth, as described in the Book of Divinity, chapter 9, verse 4, where it states, "And the plateau of Harata and Zerdo were driven down to the earth and near the earth, and the belt of meteors was moved near by thousands of miles. And meteorite stones fell in many places upon the earth, like a rain shower, but burning hot and with suffocating smells. And the affairs of mortals were changed, and they built new cities and became great hunters, applying the wisdom of their forefathers to the matters of the earth." So here, this verse just describes falling meteorites and how it changed the condition of mortals for that particular time. So this is not new throughout the history of planet Earth, of meteorites showering the earth. There's several other descriptions in the OAHSPE where it refers to meteorites showering the earth, but I just wanted to read that particular one. So what I'm doing is showing you evidence from people who are making claims and showing you how it coincides with OAHSPE at the same time. Now, another thing that I found interesting is that one of these astronomers named mcclelland describes globe-like spacecrafts the size of Jupiter.
And again, we have a strange object just outside the border of the rays of the sun, and it was sucking energy off the sun. Now I'll tell you why. The sun is electrical in nature. It's not atomic. The sun is electrical, so it was sucking the electrical energy away from our sun to refuel its Jupiter-sized spacecraft. About a year ago, there was another globe, a globe the size of Jupiter, sitting outside the diameter of the sun. I watched it as it sucked electrical energy off the surface of the sun. There was an energy power that led from the ship to the sun, and I watched as it was sucking away electrical energy for its ship power. So that's twice now I've seen that. And anybody tells me it's just a phenomena, it's bullshit. It's sucking energy into a large, massive ship that's the size of Jupiter, that has within it thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of ships within that global spacecraft.
Now, here's a verse in OAHSPE where it describes a globe-like craft, as described in the book of East, Daughter of Jehovah, chapter 3, verse 17, where it states, "Then upward, onward, rose the Eravanga, the ship of fire, whose photosphere as to size was like a world, rose up higher and higher, heading for the far-off red star, that course in the serpent's coil, 1,000,000 miles and a half a mile a day." So here this verse just describes a craft with a photosphere around it that's the size of a world, coinciding with what the astronaut was saying. Now here's another description of these large planetary-sized crafts in OAHSPE, as described in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah, chapter 10, verse 7. "At midnight, the sea of fire, the Adavasit, which is the name of the craft, reached the Shinvat, the border of the Earth's vortex, just beyond the orbit of the moon, and the size twice the moon's diameter. Here the ship halted for 4 hours, and then again began to descend, and rapidly, fearful to behold, becoming more scarlet within the vortex, but growing bigger, larger, and definite in figure."
About a year ago, there was another globe, a globe the size of Jupiter.